Most people in a calorie deficit still don't lose fat. I know it because I lost 40 kilograms in 10 months and I had to learn it the hard way. In this video, I'm going to show you the real 4 reasons it's failing you. But before we get into it, if you want personal help losing body fat, message me for free on Telegram. First link in the comments. Part 1. The theory is simple. Let's start with what a calorie deficit actually is, because most people have been sold a version of it that's way too clean. The idea is simple. Eat less than your body burns and you lose fat. That's it. Calories in, calories out. Every doctor, dietitian and fitness influencer agrees on this. And they are right. The theory works. So why are millions of people eating in a deficit and still not losing weight? Because knowing something and actually doing it are two completely different things. Think about it. You know you should drink more water. You know you should sleep 8 hours. You know you should stop eating at night. Knowing has never been the problem. The problem is everything that gets in the way of doing it. A calorie deficit is not a one-time decision. It's not something you do on a Monday morning and then you are done. It's something you have to repeat every single day, for weeks, for months, sometimes for years. And most people never told that. They were told to count their calories. They were told what numbers to hit. They downloaded an app, they tracked their meals for 5 days, they felt great, and then life happened. A birthday dinner, a stressful week at work, a bad night of sleep, a holiday, a fight with someone close to them, and just like that, the deficit was gone. This is not a willpower problem. This is not a laziness problem. This is a design problem. The way most people set up their deficit was never built to survive real life. And that's the first reason most calorie deficits fail. Not because the math is wrong, but because the plan has no room for being human. Here's what actually works. Instead of eating at the very edge of your calorie limit every day, where one bad meal destroys the whole day, build in a smaller buffer. If your target is 1,800 calories, aim for 1,700. That's 100 calorie cushion might seem small, but over a week, it means you can have one unexpected moment and still stay on track. Small buffers keep you in the game. Tight limit kicks you out of it. Part 2. Hidden calories are destroying your accuracy. Here's something that shocks most people when they first hear it. You are almost certainly eating more than you think you are. Not because you are lying to yourself, not because you're sneaking food at night, but because calorie counting, the way most people do it, is full of holes they don't even know are there. Let me show you what I mean. You make oatmeal in the morning. You grab the oats, put them in a bowl, and log it. But did you measure the oats? Or did you scoop them into the bowl and guess? Most people guess. And most people's 1 cup of oats is actually closer to 1.5 cups. That's about 75 extra calories every single morning. Now you add a tablespoon of peanut butter. Did you measure it? Peanut butter is thick and dense. What most people call a tablespoon is usually closer to 2. That's an extra 95 calories right there. You have a coffee with a splash of creamer. That splash is probably 2 tablespoons, another 40 calories. We are already at over 200 calories extra. And that's just breakfast. This is called calorie creep. And it happens to almost everyone who tracks their food without using a food scale. Studies have shown that people underestimate their calorie intake by anywhere from 20 to 50%. That means if you think you are eating 1,800 calories, you might actually be eating 2,200 or more. There's also something called the cooking oil problem. You spray a little oil in the pan, doesn't seem like much, right? 1-2 second spray of cooking oil can be 40 to 80 calories depending how long you hold the nozzle. Most people don't log at all. What about sauces, dressings? A pour of olive oil on a salad. 2 tablespoons of olive oil is 240 calories. A light drizzle for most people is closer to 3 tablespoons. That's 360 calories in what you considered a healthy meal. And drinks? People forget drinks constantly. A glass of orange juice is about 110 calories. A latte with oat milk is 150 to 200. A protein shake that you didn't account for is another 150. Drinks can easily add 400 to 600 calories to your day without you ever logging a single one. The fix here is not complicated, but it does require a few weeks of discipline. Get a food scale. Use it every time you cook at home. You don't have to do this forever, but doing it 4 to 6 weeks will rewire how you see portion sizes. You will be shocked at what you've been undercounting. After a few weeks, your eyes will be calibrated, your guesses will be accurate, and your deficit will actually be a deficit. Part 3. You're consistent Monday to Friday and it doesn't matter. This one is hard for a lot of people to hear because they feel like they are doing everything right. Monday through Friday, they are locked in. They hit their calories, they eat clean, they train hard, they feel proud of themselves. And they should, that's real effort. But then the weekend comes. Friday night, there's a dinner out. Saturday is a birthday party. Sunday is a lazy day with takeout and a movie. And by Sunday night, the entire calorie deficit from the week has been wiped out. This is called the weekend effect. And it's one of the most common reasons people stay stuck despite feeling like they are consistent. Here's the math. Let's say your goal is to be 500 calories under your maintenance every day. Over 5 weekdays, that's a 2,500 calorie deficit. That's about 1.7 pounds of fat loss a solid week. But then one Saturday you go out for a dinner and drinks. That one night can easily be 2,000 to 3,000 calories over your maintenance if you're not careful. Wine, appetizers, a big meal, dessert, it adds up faster than most people realize. Suddenly, your 2,500 calorie deficit weekly is either gone or barely there. And the frustrating thing is, you were consistent. You did 5 days perfectly, but the math doesn't care about how many days you tried. It only cares about the total. This is why weekly calorie targets work better than daily ones for many people. Instead of thinking, I need to hit 1,800 calories every single day, think, I need to hit 12,600 calories total across the week. That's the same number, 1,800 times 7, but it gives you flexibility. If you know Saturday night is going to be a bigger meal, you eat little lighter on Thursday and Friday to create a buffer. You're not restricting yourself on the weekend. You're just planning for real life instead of pretending weekends don't exist. Flexibility in your structure is not weakness. It's what keeps the structure standing. Part 4. Emotional eating breaks every plan. This is the part that most fitness content skips over, and it's probably the biggest reason people fail. Not just at calorie deficits, but at every diet they've ever tried. Emotional eating. And before you say, that's not me, let me ask you something. Have you ever eaten when you weren't hungry? Have you ever eaten because you were bored, stressed, tired, sad, celebrating, anxious, lonely? If you said yes to any of those, that's emotional eating. And it's not a flaw, it's human. Food is deeply connected to our emotions. From childhood, we are given food as comfort, as reward, as celebration. When we feel bad, we reach for something that makes us feel good in the moment. And food, especially high-fat, high-sugar food, does make you feel good in the moment. That's not an accident. That's brain chemistry. The problem is that emotional hunger doesn't respond to logic. You can know your calorie target. You can have your meals planned out. You can be doing everything right. But when stress hits, when the bad days comes, When the anxiety spikes, when you feel overwhelmed, your brain doesn't want your meal plan. It wants relief, and food is fast relief. One emotional eating episode can be anywhere from 500 to 2000 calories over your plan. Depending on how often it happens, it can completely erase your weekly deficit without you even realizing it. The fix is not about willpower. Trying to will your way through emotional eating is like trying to hold a beach ball underwater. You can do it for a while, but eventually it's coming back. Instead, the fix is about awareness and replacement. First, become aware of when you eat versus when you're actually hungry. Start asking yourself one question before you eat anything outside of your planned meals. Am I hungry or am I feeling something? Just that one moment of pause creates space between the emotion and the action. Second, find a replacement behavior. Not a food replacement, a behavior replacement. When you feel the urge to eat for emotional reasons, have a list of 3 things you can do instead. Go for a 10-minute walk. Send a voice message to someone you trust. Do 5 minutes of slow breathing. These aren't magic, but they give you an exit ramp before you reach for food. Third, don't make it worse by adding guilt. The biggest damage from emotional eating isn't the calories. It's the guilt spiral that comes after. You eat extra, you feel bad about it, you feel like you failed, and then you eat more because you've already ruined it. That cycle is where real progress dies. If you have an emotional eating moment, it's one moment. Close it. Move on. Don't let one moment turn into a week of giving up. Part 5. The gap between knowing and doing. We've now covered the four main reasons calorie deficits fail. Let's bring them together, because there's a thread that connects all of them. The theory of a calorie deficit is perfect. It works every time, in theory. But humans don't live in theory. We live in stress, distraction, emotion, social pressure, bad days, and real life. And no diet plan that ignores those things will ever work long term. The people who succeed at losing fat aren't the ones who know the most about nutrition. They are the ones who build a system that fits their actual life. They don't rely on motivation because motivation comes and goes. They rely on habits and structure that survive even on the bad days. They don't try to be perfect because perfect breaks the moment life gets hard. They aim for consistent enough, which keeps them moving even when things go sideways. They don't track every meal forever, but they track long enough to understand what they're actually eating and know their portion awareness is automatic. They've made peace with the fact that emotional eating will happen, and they've built in strategies to reduce it and recover from it quickly. This is what separates people who lose the weight and keep it off from people who lose it and gain it back. Not more knowledge, a better system. Part 6. The simple framework that actually works. Let me give you the actual framework, simple, practical, and built for real life. Step 1. Set a realistic deficit. Don't aim for the maximum. Aim for 300 to 500 calories below your maintenance. This is slow enough that it's sustainable and fast enough to see progress. Anything more is aggressive and you're setting yourself up for hunger, cravings, and eventual breakdown. Step 2. Use a food scale for 4 to 6 weeks. Just this one habit will fix the hidden calorie problem for most people. You don't have to do it forever, but doing it long enough to calibrate your eyes will change how accurately you eat forever. Step 3. Set weekly calorie targets, not just daily. Give yourself room to live. Plan for the weekend. If you know a big dinner is coming, adjust the days around it. Flexibility is not failure. It's the system working as intended. Step 4. Build an emotional eating protocol. Write down 3 things you will do before reaching for food when you're not hungry. Keep the list somewhere visible. It sounds simple because it is, but having it written down makes it real. Step 5. Measure progress weekly, not daily. Your weight will go up and down every day based on water, salt, hormones, sleep, and dozens of other things. Daily weigh-ins tell you almost nothing useful. Weekly averages tell you everything. Take your weight every morning for a week, average it out, and compare week to week. That's your real progress. If you want personal help losing body fat for free, message me on Telegram. First link in the comments.